Department of Industrial Engineering. Operation Research 1. Unit 1. Introduction to Operation Research. Presented by Heriberto García Silva, César Jiménez Reynoso, Eliezer Fierro Burgos, Manuel Gallego. Introduction of Operation Research. The British Europeans refer to operational, the Americans to Operation Research, but both are often shortened to just OR, which is the term we will use. Another term which is used for this field is management science. MS. The Americans sometimes combine the terms OR and MS together and say ORMS or ORMS. Yet other terms sometimes used are industrial engineering, IE, and decision science, DS. In recent years, there has been a move towards an standardization upon a single term for the field, namely the term OR. Phases of a study of OR. Phase of the Operation Research Study. OR is considered a tool for decision making, considered a science and an art. To implement OR in practice, the main phases are definition of the problem. The objective is to identify three main elements. 1. Description of the decision alternatives. 2. Determination of the objective of the study. And 3. Specification of the limitation under which the modeling system works. Phase of the Operation Research Study. Model construction involves an attempt to transform the definition of the problem into mathematical relations. Solution of the model. It implies the use of well-defined optimization algorithms. An important aspect of the solution phase of the model is the sensitivity analysis. Validation of the model. Does the model provide a reasonable prediction of the behavior of the system studied? In other words, does the solution make sense? Are the results intuitively acceptable? Phase of the Operation Research Study. Implementation of the solution implies the transformation of the result into understandable operating instructions that will be used to the people who will administer the recommended system.
Main application the of the or R. Main line application the of operation research. Most of the practical problems that the or R team face are inevitably described in a baguette. Why? This process the of defining the problem is crucial as it will significantly affect the relevance of the student's findings. In the combination domain, enumeration is often impossible. For example, if we have 200 jobs to be done, those that take different times and wine for people the who can do it listing hash of the combination they make big inefficient the then the sequencing methods they will be the most appropriate for this kind of problems. Mainliner application the of operation research. Similarly, the OR is uniform the way in phenomena studied. Randomness intervenes the notion of mathematical hub and the theory of statistics process provide the necessary tool to construct the framework in which the economics the function will be optimized. For the most part, operation research is to work has a pressure the set of instruments that when concurrent situation arise. Mainliner application the of operation research. Optimization the problem in order to arrive at a solution requires a mathematical approach. The procedure consists of the following steps. Step 1. Identify the input variable. This is usually dependent on the question of problem. Step 2. Determine the amount you want to optimize and express yourself. Mathematically, the resulting equation is called the objective function. Step 3. Identify all requirements, constraints, or limitations on express. Step 6. Algebraically, this equation or hash set of restrictions. Step 4. Spread all in the condition 8 thus that the extent does not mention the both are obvious to the nature of the problem. Methodology for modeling and formulation. The modeling is the complete the process of abstraction from the real system to total quantity model and results in a mathematical model of the real system understood. It can be divided into two phrases, subjective and objective. The subjective part consists of the derivation of the supposed or simplified system, while the objective is the construction of the model from the simplified system. Methodology for modeling and formulation. The formulation is the objective component of modeling and consistent of converting the simplified system into the a quantity model that describes AI.
Main types of restriction. Also, for the infinitive of problems that can be modeled to be solved by linear programming, there are very different constraints. We can say that the limitation of a model of PL are grouped into sites main types, which are capacity constraints related to the infrastructure resources of the system, such as hours of labor, machine, space, etc. Input restriction, they limited the value of the variable dot to the available of resources, such as raw material, money, etc. Main types of restriction. Market restriction. They reflect the maximum or minimum values in sales or in the use of the product or in the level of the activity to be carried out. Composition constraints. These are expressions of the mixture of ingredients, which usually define the quality of the product or result. Material balance restriction expresses the outputs of a process based on input, generally taking into account a certain percentage of waste or waste in the process.
Main types of restriction. Internal constraints. These are those that are written to define the values of a variable that arises in the formulation. of the problem, not begin a decision variable, but an auxiliary variable created to make the construction of the model more expeditious. Restrictions for administrative policies, they are not part of the technology of the problem, but are due to administrative decisions, such as not investing more than a certain amount of money in some options. Formulation of common linear problem. Linear programming definition. Linear programming is a class of mathematical programming model for an efficient allocation of the limited resource in known activities in order to meet the desired goals, maximize benefit or minimize cost. The main elements of a linear programming model are variables or unknowns, the objective functions, restrictions. The distinguished feature of the line programming models is that the function that present the target at the constraint are linear. Linear programming. Optimization problem in the order to arrive at a solution require a mathematical approach. The procedure consists of the following steps. Step 1. Identify the input variables. This is usually depending on the question of the problem. Step 2. Determine the amount you want to optimize and express yourself mathematically. The resulting equation is called the objective function. Step 3. Identify all requirements, constraints, or limitations and express themselves algebraically. These equations are called set of restrictions. Step 4. Express all hidden conditions. I.O. thus that the statement does not mention but are obvious due to the nature of the problems.